go to the book of John, chapter 9, starting at verse 1. When you get there, you may stand to your feet. And if you're not able to stand, you may remain seated. And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither had this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it's day. The night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. You may be seated. So, there are some people who've been living in a dark world since the day they were born. Being blind is all they know. Darkness is all they know. They are lost, feeling their way around, always running into dead ends, not knowing which way to go. These people depend on other people to guide them in the midst of their darkness. But see, what they don't realize is the people that they're dependent on, they're living in darkness too. They're in that same dark world that they're in. The Bible tells us the blind leading the blind will fall into a pit. These people that live in darkness, they also struggle to make decisions. All they can see is the problem before them. All they are focused on is the thing that's before their eyes. They can't see their destiny because all they're focused on is their problem. All they're focused on is, I keep running to this that's not working out. I keep running into that that's not working out. They're living in a dark world. They can't see their way out. When you have your focus on your problems, when that's all you are focused on is your problems, and you have no destiny, you cannot see your destiny, can't even think about anything past your problems, you are blind. When you have no vision, it makes you blind. Blind people have no vision. All they're focused on is feeling their way around. You've heard people say, I have to feel you out before I get to know you. I can't talk to this person. I can't connect to this person until I feel them out. A blind person has to feel you to know who you are. But when you have vision, when you have insight, you build a relationship with somebody instead of trying to feel somebody out. A person with insight, a person with vision, they develop a relationship. They don't feel people out. They develop a relationship to get to know you. It's hard for a blind man to love or to give love because they're so busy trying to feel their way around. They're so busy running into dead ends. They have so many distractions in their blind world. They have no vision. They can't make decisions. They have no direction. They're lost. And this is their norm. This is all they know, is being lost. Being blind, living in a blind world also makes you ignorant. The disciples asked Jesus, who sinned? Was it him? Or was it his parents? And I say this question was ignorant because how can a person sin in their mother's womb? You cannot sin in your mother's womb. So living in a dark world makes you ignorant. You cannot think clearly when you're blind because you have no vision. Your vision is connected to your thought. If you have no vision, you have no thought. The only thing you focus on is the one thing that's right there in front of you at that moment. And so when you bump into that doesn't work out. You try another direction and you run over here, that don't work out, and you try another direction. But see, if you had a vision in the midst of your darkness, you would know where you're going. If you had a vision in the midst of your darkness, you would see your destiny, and you would have a goal. You would have a destination that you know that you need to reach. But because you're in blindness, you just keep running over here trying this relationship. That relationship didn't work. I'm going to come over here and try this relationship. That relationship didn't work. I'm going to come over here and hop to this church. That church didn't work. So I'm going to come over here and hop to that church. That church didn't work. No vision in darkness. You have to have a vision. The Bible tells us if the people don't have a vision, they will perish. But I want to let you know that every time something goes wrong in your life, it doesn't mean that you did something wrong. Now, sometimes you could be reaping a bad seed that you have sown, but that's not always the case. Ask Job. He'll tell you all about it. Job was a righteous man. Job was a good man. He was faithful to God. Job was a man who refused to do wrong. And he was also a rich man. He had thousands of sheep, cattle, ox, donkeys, and servants. And he had 10 kids. He was the greatest man in his land. And so Satan was watching him. And he complained to God. He went to God and he said, God, Job is only good to you because you bless him with so much. If you take away the blessing, I bet you he'll curse you. So God told Satan, do as you please with him, but don't kill him. So Satan had this plot to hurt Job. So he decided he was going to take everything away from him. And one day, Job lost his livestock. That same day, he lost all his kids. In an instant, his wealth and his family was wiped out, gone in one day. And so Satan's sitting back, waiting, watching. I bet you're going to curse God now. Instead of cursing God, he praised God. He worshiped God. So Satan was like, okay. So he went back to God and he said, God, those things that he lost, it didn't physically hurt him. But if I make him sick, I bet you he'll curse you. God said, okay, do as you please, but you can't kill him. So Satan went back and he caused Job to have boils, sores, painful sores that covered the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. Instead, so Satan was like, yeah, I know he gonna curse God now. All his money is gone. His loving children gone. I know he gonna curse God. And then he had people, his family, his so-called friends coming up to him and saying, look here, you had to do something wrong. You must have sinned against God. What you do wrong? You did something wrong. And then his wife came up to him and said, Job, you might as well just curse God and die. It's amazing how Satan didn't kill her. She was on his side. You never know who you're married to that's actually on Satan's side. But anyway, Job did not curse God. He praised God. He worshiped God. In the midst of his darkness, Job praised God. He worshiped God. He didn't whine. He didn't complain. He praised him. He worshiped him. He remained faithful when everybody was trying to get him to turn against God, to doubt, to have misbelief. He remained faithful. In his pain, in his agony, he remained faithful. He didn't understand why God did what he did. He didn't understand why he was going through what he was going through. But because Jesus is the light of the world, and Job was in this world, Jesus was in him. And he understood. He had a vision in the midst of his darkness. And he followed that vision in his darkness. And because he followed that vision in the midst of his darkness, God restored him. He healed his body. He gave him a brand new wife. And he had kids. He gave him a family again. Everything that he lost, God gave it back, plus way more. Because Job kept the vision in his darkness. Job could see in his darkness. When Satan places you in a dark situation, like he did with Job, if you got Christ in you, which is the light of the world, if he's in you, Satan can't turn off Jesus. He can turn off man-made light, but he can't turn off Jesus' light that's in you. Satan tried to put Job, he put Job in a dark world. But in the midst of that dark world, his light was on. His Jesus light was on. And he used that light to navigate through the darkness. He used that light so he can see his destiny and not his problem. Use your light that's inside of you to see your way through the darkness. You ain't got to feel your way around. All you have to do is use the light that's in you. God will navigate you in the midst of your dark world. He is that light in the tunnel that will guide you out that dark tunnel. Before God created the universe, at the beginning, the world was dark. It was formless and void. Before God did anything, before God did anything, he said, let there be light. Then he started his creation. God didn't work in the darkness. And once he separated the light from the darkness, God said, let the light he called good. And the darkness, he really didn't say anything about the darkness. So if he called the light good, then that darkness represents something that is not good. And if you read the scripture, it tells us that darkness represents chaos. So in other words, God don't work in chaos. Being in a dark world is chaos. Living in a dark world is chaos. Hopping around from this place to this place with no purpose is chaos. Having no direction is chaos. God don't work in chaos. Putting your mouth on somebody is chaos. Not having Jesus in your life is chaos. And God don't work in chaos. Before he created anything, he said, let there be light. God worked in the light. He did not work in the darkness. He did not work in chaos. If you're living in chaos right now, put Jesus in your life. Then you will start seeing God working in your life. You will start seeing God manifest in your life. If things not working out right now, get closer to God. Put some light in your darkness. And watch God navigate you out of it. Jesus said, he has to do the work that God sent him to do while it's still light, because the night is coming and no man can work in the night. The Bible also tells us there is a time and a season for everything. While you're still here on the face of this earth, you have the opportunity right now to have Jesus to be the light that lives inside of you. This is your season to get it right. This is your season to get to know who God is. This is your season to trust God. This is your season not to feel God, but to build a relationship with God. This is your season for God to give you a vision. This is your season for you to stop hopping from this place, hopping from that place, hopping from this relationship, hopping to that relationship. This is your season to fulfill your destiny, to fulfill your calling. This is your season because the Bible tells us no man can walk in darkness. No man can work in darkness. When the night comes, your season is over. When the night comes, it's too late. It's done. It's fixed. When the night comes, no man can work in the darkness. There's no vision in the darkness. There's no light in the darkness. It's only chaos. And if God didn't work in the darkness, man can't work in the darkness either. Get it done. This is your season while you're still living. While you're still living, this is your season. You can't work from a dark grave. Dead man can't do nothing. This is your season.